I'm so happy that we're going to be using Nancy Larson's Level 1 Science this year. If you want to see what comes inside a Level 1 Science box from Nancy Larson, stay tuned. Hi everybody, welcome back to Project Happy Home. For those of you who are new here, I'm Tanya, a doctor, lawyer turned homeschooling mom of 3 kids ages 7, 4, and 2. This year I have a rising second grader and a kindergartner, and we will be using Nancy Larson's Level 1 Science for both of them. My son will be doing more of the written work and my daughter will just be participating and maybe keeping like a science journal of her own, but I'll be going through all the materials in the box with you now. But before I do that, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about why I chose Nancy Larson. One, it is secular, and when I say that Nancy Larson is secular science, I mean that it is faith neutral and it addresses the fact that the world was very, very old and references things like when the dinosaurs went extinct and the fact that that was millions and millions of years ago. It does not address evolution directly, but I personally don't feel like that makes it a non-secular curriculum. I think that when you want to introduce evolution to your children as a secular homeschooler, it is literally as easy as picking up some great resources on evolution and prehistory and presenting that to your children. Nancy Larson's Level 1 Science doesn't address either one of those things. It doesn't address origin of the world at all. It deals mostly with nature science and things that children at this age, at a very early elementary age, can see and observe. And I was really attracted to that idea. I also really like the fact that it's a scripted curriculum that allows me to ask my children questions repetitively throughout the interaction. It's a very Socratic method of interaction with my kids, especially since I am from a science background. Sometimes I can forget what is complicated and what is simple because I have been in science for so long, and I really like having a scripted curriculum that reminds me to emphasize things that might not be so simple for my kids to understand. Another thing I really like about it is that all the materials are included. It is an open and go curriculum. For last year, I found it very hard to just sort of pick materials up for science experiments that I would read in a book, for example. I very much appreciated how Bookshark sent me all the materials, and I wanted something like that again. I really like how Nancy Larson sends you not only the science materials you need for recording your science experiments, so they have journals, which I will show you, but they also send you every single material you need. Another thing that appealed to me about Nancy Larson Science is that it's very clear to see what level your child should be at. They provide word lists and suggest that you go through the word lists and see where is your child's understanding of these particular science concepts. And you can teach to multiple ages of kids within one level. So for example, instead of getting the kindergarten level and then the level 2, I'm just deciding to go with level 1 and meeting both my kids there. So we can relax into and enjoy our science year and have a lot of fun with science that they can see and observe in the world around them. So without further talking on my part, I'll show you everything inside the Nancy Larson Level 1 Science box. So you guys, I had planned on filming the contents of the box on a black screen like I do normally, but time has gotten away from me, and I also realized that I wanted to show you some of my reactions to the things and turn things in and talk about them in a way that would probably make more sense if you could see my face. So hopefully you've already seen the video that my kids did just unboxing the materials for the first time so we could get a look at them. And if you've seen that video, you can see that the Nancy Larson Science Level 1 kit comes with a huge array of manipulatives and visuals to help teach your kids science in a very easy, understandable, accessible way for an early elementary student. So just to start out, I wanted to talk to you about some of the paper materials that come in the box. In particular, the kit that I received from Nancy Larson includes the Homeschool Complete program for Science 1, as well as an individual student unit for Science 1. Although I'm planning on using it with my 4-year-old daughter as well, I don't really want her to do a lot of the written work of it so much as the experiential work. So I didn't feel like there was a need to request another homeschool student kit for her. The box does come with a toolkit page which shows you exactly what's inside it. So it comes with 6 books, a butterfly garden set, a human X-ray set, insect learning cards, there's 28 cards in there, insects and spiders, the little plastic ones you saw the baby array in a line, Jack pine cones, ladybug land with larva coupon, and a dual-ended magnifier. As well as tree cookies. That was in that little bag that my son exclaimed. And this bag has a bunch of nature that we will investigate later. In addition to the materials in the box, there is a huge array of online materials that you can download and print yourself. And these include things like lists of materials as well as calendars and schedules for the activities. I printed out what I thought I would need, but not everything. And you can see that even without printing out everything, it is quite a thick little package. I'm going to bind this with a comb binder. So one of the things I printed out was a list of materials. And you can see here it's quite detailed and organized by lesson, which I like. So here in the margins, you can see lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. And right next to it, it tells you exactly what you need for each lesson. So it's really easy to pull out from your box of materials what you will need for that lesson. So for example, it tells you right here that lesson 1 requires photo cards 1A, 1B, and 1C, the science word list A, the resource book, What Do Scientists Do, and some magazines, some store advertisements, and catalogs, because I imagine they might have to do some cutting and pasting. So if there's anything that you need to get yourself from your own materials, it will list it here and you can look ahead and find out. There's also several pages of student outcomes that you can print out, and these are sort of like objectives. So depending upon the lesson, for example, here's lesson 16, observing and comparing leaves. Students will share, discuss, and compare their leaves' size, shape, and kind. So if you do have a portfolio to prepare or something to show to a homeschool board or something for your state regulations, this is really, really helpful. The work is already done for you in terms of what each lesson teaches. Yet another useful printout is this page, which is Literature Connections, and it's several pages actually, and they divide it up by topic. So topic A is describing the life stages of human beings, and then underneath that it says Lesson 1, and it tells you the book name. So the 2 books, Scientists Ask Questions, and What is a Scientist? It tells you the age ranges those books are appropriate for, as well as the ISBN. So in addition to the books that they already include, they suggest several other books that you can pick out from your library or buy online to supplement and enrich your lessons with your kids. Especially since Nancy Larson Science 1 is designed to be done 2 or 3 times a week. If you wanted to do science every day, adding in these extra literature resources would be a great way to do it. Another resource they provide, which I love, and I know you planners will love, and people who love Excel and charts, is this very graphic, colorful representation of the topics, the art activities, the buddy reading activities, the library activities, vocabulary activities, making words activity, writing activity, and computer activity. They change from topics, so like you'll see here, topic B includes all of those activities above, but also a math activity instead of a writing activity. So these are divided up by topic area. So you see here topic A, topic B, topic C, and I have several more pages like this. So let's say you do a loop schedule and you like to work on your writing one day, but you want to incorporate all your topics if you can. So you want to incorporate science also. You can reference this and see where the writing activity is. So for example, here are vocabulary activities, here's a writing activity. And you can do this in your block schedule for that day. It doesn't necessarily have to be where you block in science. Another set of pages that I printed out were a glossary of words. So it has, just like a dictionary, it has lists of words that they're going to learn, and then it has their definitions for them. It also tells you on the side what booklet lessons where the word is introduced. Another really helpful feature. So it's all been thought out for you. So for example, air is right here, and it says that it'll be at booklet level B. They also provide science word cards for you. It gives you instructions on how to print them out, and it lists them out per lesson again, so it's nice and easy for you to see. And then the science word cards come out like this. So you can print them out, you can laminate them and cut them apart. And then they have matching cards with their definitions and little pictures, if you can see. So this is a really nice activity, for example, your younger students as well as your older students. Because it has pictures and words, they can cooperate and do that together. They also provide science word list templates. So they have, like here it says science word list A, describing life stages of human beings. And you can print out the words from the word list, and you can laminate these as well, and they can move them around and arrange them on the list. There's several things that are included in the curriculum that don't actually come in the box. These are the Nancy Larson 1 student materials. You can see how thick it is here. The first part of this is actually this notebook. So the notebook comes already 3-hole punched, which makes life really easy for you, and the sheets are really easy to pull out from the top. and it clearly labels exactly what lesson you're dealing with at the very top, and it has easy activities for them to do. For example, here it's circle the word that correctly completes the sentence. You can look back and do a little bit of review, and it is single-sided, so there's no need to worry about how things will bleed through the paper or anything like that. Here you have how trees help us, and so on and so forth. So there's several pages of that. The next part of the student materials are these booklets. And here you can see this includes 6 separate booklets, which are all bound with staples right here. They're very slender and easy for a child to handle. They're already 3-hole punch, so you can slide them right into a binder. This one is describing the life stages of human beings, observing trees, exploring sunlight, water, and soil, investigating animals and their habitats, discovering what is inside our bodies, and examining characteristics and life cycles of insects. All really nicely laid out. The booklets have the cutest feature at the bottom, if you can see. Depending upon the topic of the booklet, it lists their career down at the bottom. So here it says developmental scientist. For the observing trees one, it lists botanist. For exploring sunlight and water, it's environmental scientist, and so on and so forth. Again, it empowers the students to feel like they are scientists truly doing these observations. They're not learning about scientists, they actually are the scientists filling out their lab notebooks. So the lab notebooks have areas for drawings, they have areas for labeling. So here's a tree, there's areas to describe different habitats, different activities to do. There's also places like tables and charts where you can do labeling, for example, of a human figure, the life cycle of an insect. One of my favorite things about the Nancy Larson curriculum, honestly, just in my initial unboxing and review and preparation of materials, is how easy it is to grab what you need out of the box and go. And I don't only mean the experimental materials, I also mean the paper materials. The way they've organized out each of the lessons, it's so clear and progressive and not overwhelming. So this is the teacher's manual. It's about 1 inch thick, as you can see, and it's coil bound with this white plastic binding. Very sturdy. The covers are a little bit thicker cardstock than the insides, and it goes through and tells you about all the lessons to come. So it has a nice table of contents, and it is scripted. So if you can see here, I want to show you how clearly it's scripted. It basically puts what the adult will read in bold, and so it says here, an infant sleeps in a crib. Why do you think infants sleep in a crib? And then it has in a grayed out text, sort of a suggested answer for the students so they don't fall out. What else do you know about infants? Drink from a bottle, wear diapers, have pacifiers, play with soft toys, drool. Let's read our sentences together. So then it says, with bullet points, what you're supposed to do. Point to the words as you read the sentences with your child. Show your child booklet A, describing life stages of human beings. And then you go on and just do the scripted lesson. For a person like me with a very strong science background, this is really helpful because I have a tendency to gloss over things that I find really obvious and easy. And it's hard for me to remember that for an early elementary student, these things aren't that obvious and easy, and they might very well have missed out on little portions of science, and I just don't realize it in my hurry to get to the good stuff. And the book continues in this vein. They also have lesson reviews here, which is a nice feature. So it's a little bit of spiralizing the curriculum. It walks you through the process. If you're a first-year homeschooler, I cannot imagine how helpful something like this would be. As you're doing science with your child, the script coaches you to reinforce other skills with your children, like phonics and reading, and just being able to focus on a direction and do that direction. So I really like the gentle pace of it. I think at an early age, it's really important for children to feel empowered, to know that they can do this, and to be able to gauge their own progress in learning. I think it's also really helpful to have a scripted dialogue so that we don't get ahead of ourselves in our enthusiasm and skip over the important building blocks for our children. They also have pictures of the booklets that they'll be working on and the sheets they'll be working on with answers right in there. So it's all keyed out for you in a really nice graphic way. Other things included in the box include these beautiful cards that my daughter read through, and there's a hilarious part where she mistakes, I think, a bison for a warthog. So there's definitely basics to review with science that you don't think about. These are glossy and very sturdy cards, and I'm really happy with them. The true to life human X-rays, of course, I'm excited by the human X-rays. These are really nice. I especially love their size because so often when you get things like this, they're small and dinky, and it doesn't really give the child an idea of what a chest X-ray looks like. And this looks like a chest X-ray. It has that same glossy material and everything. And so you have arms and legs and things like that. And I already know that my kids are gonna love this. And I actually have a light box for my kids that I bought used from Craigslist, so that'll be perfect for it. If you don't have a light box, honestly, you can just put them up against a window and it'll work just as well. So these are the books that are included with the Nancy Larson Science 1 curriculum. One of them is called Trees to Paper. Then you have the Audubon Society Insects and Spiders book. These are the pocket guides. We actually have a couple of these that are of other topics like birds. And these are beautiful, you guys. They have full color photographs and then a description on the facing page of the insect. And the description includes how to identify them, the habitat, the range, the life cycle, as well as their scientific name and a little bit more information. So these are not just appropriate for young students. These will last your children all the way through high school. These are wonderful, easy guides to take with you on a hike or just to use in your classroom as well. Similarly, the Petersons Guide to Trees. This is not just a children's book. This has really significant academic information that you guys can use throughout your academic career. The Seasons of Arnold's Apple Tree by Gail Gibbons. I really like the illustrations in this book. They are very cheerful and bright. Your Insides. This is actually by the author of the Magic School Bus series, and it's one of those books with those fun, glossy see-through pages. Let me see if I can find one to show you. So here you have Your Skin, and see how that's like a glossy page? When you lift it, it says your skin is on the outside. What's inside? Lift the page to find out. And when you lift the page, they have this to prevent them from sticking together. You have this, your bones and muscles right here. And then when you lift that page, you can see this next one with your arteries and vessels and so on and so forth. So that's always really fun for the kids. There's also this little book, What Do Scientists Do? I like how they approach it from all different angles. So if you are teaching children of multiple ages, you have resources that appeal to them at their level, as well as levels above and below, which allows younger children to rise a little bit and older children to teach their younger siblings as well. These are learning card sets, and these are really pretty. So here you have like a praying mantis, I believe. The Carolina mantid. Yes, it is the praying mantis. See, you learn something new every day. And so if you can see here close up, these are what the insect cards look like. They are dividable. So they have a perforated edge right here, so they'll be half the size of this large one. Here's some ones of butterflies, and it has like a description of them. And these are nice to post around your classroom. For example, if you're studying ants right then, you can keep this like propped up during science class or just attached to your wall for the whole entire week. The kit also comes with manipulatives, so you have the magnifying glass right here, as well as I think 2 seed pods and then a little bit of tree bark. And this will allow you to show aging trees and how to count tree rings and things like that. And here's a bag of bugs that my 2-year-old had a great time with as she just played with them and arrayed them in a line. These are always fun. These can be used as counters. These can be used for math activities. These could be used to illustrate the difference between insects and spiders, etc., etc. And last but not least, of course, the kit comes with 2 different habitats. There is the butterfly habitat, which is a net structure that pops up quite large. And then there is the ladybug habitat, which my son was so enchanted by because it has like a mountain, as you can see, and then all these little places for them to crawl down. So don't be worried if you order this kit and you're like, oh no, I have to start growing monarchs and ladybugs right away, because those don't come with the kit. You have vouchers that come with each of the kits. So there's little certificates here. And you basically use the website and you redeem the little certificate for your ladybugs or your larva, your caterpillar larva. And so whenever you're ready to get to that unit, go ahead and do that. There is no rush. So that was the Nancy Larson's Level 1 Science Kit for homeschool. And I cannot tell you, I am so excited to start. science with my kids this year. We officially start homeschooling in September. We've been doing a little bit of homeschool orientation right now, but I'm super excited to start. And like I said, I'm partnering with Nancy Larson this year, so you will see videos from me probably every month or so, just highlighting how we're doing in science and how we're using the materials, maybe some modifications we might have made to make it work for us. But if you haven't already subscribed to me on Instagram, it's Project Happy Home on Instagram as well, and I'll be posting a lot of pictures there. So as always, you guys, I wish you the very best of luck in your homeschool year this year. If you haven't looked at the Nancy Larson website, please do so. It's really, really comprehensive and well thought out, and a solid secular science curriculum as far as I'm concerned. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I wish you the very best day.